of English language. We are doing chapter number 4. The title of the chapter is Why is the Sea Blue? And it is written by G. Venkatraman. Yesterday we saw a little information about the writer G. Venkatraman. Who is he? And still our journey is continuing, like we haven't completed what is all about G. Venkatraman. G. Venkatraman began his career, if we see the first paragraph, in his 50s, and then the Bhabha Atomic Center at Mumbai. He spent overall almost his decade at the Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, Kalpakkam. We are looking at the paragraph which is on page number 115, and then after we saw about his awards, like he was awarded the Sir C.V. Raman Prize in 1979 and was honored with the Padma Shri in 1991. So he revered with this nationally with the Padma Shri in 1991. In continuation with that, about the essay from which we have observed, like this particularly essay, it is a kind of an inspiration behind C.V. Raman's keen interest in optics. Optics, that is the study of science of lights particularly. The essay is perceptive document about the determined pursuit of science that Raman evinced in his life, that yes, it is a kind of a sensitive document about this pursuit of science. વિજ્ઞાનની શોધ, એમનો ગહન રસ અને એની સમજ કદાચ આપણને આ ચેપ્ટરમાં દેખાય છે. Irrespective of the circumstances that he has occurred or he faced in his life, but due to his dedication, he brought this excellence, the contribution in the field of science, and he belonged to a country. In that period of time, the country was not that much developed, forefront, ahead in the field of science. Then after we saw from this document about the C.V. Raman, who is he, then after his education, when this happened, like when he was traveling and when he was coming back from England, at that time in the Mediterranean Sea, during the journey of ship, he conducted few experiments, and out of his experiments he found this color of sky. And overall belief during that time by the scientist was the color of the water that caused the blue light to scatter more than other colors in the light. Then after we saw about his education, like he got his degree of professor from the University of Calcutta, and then he was returning back from his journey to England and Europe. Then in the third paragraph we saw, like in 1930 C.V. Raman became the first person from Asia to be awarded as the Nobel Prize in any field of science. Then after we saw also about the reason behind celebration of National Science Day of India, that is on 28th February we celebrate in the memory of C.V. Raman. Then we found out about the Raman effect. This is called Raman effect. Raman effect has been, or it has become very popular and useful in many areas of science. It was found that when light is passing through a substance, it creates ample of colors, and the colors were seen that could be found, or that could be thought as the fingerprint of the substance. It is Raman's spectroscopy. Recently people have found out this idea, and they were able to make the device, and that device is known as Raman scanner. This is what we have discussed in the last lecture. Even police is using this scanner to detect people if they are carrying anything banned. Similarly, this curiosity was increasing day by day, and due to his keen interest in the science and specifically optics, the study of light, that was bringing more and more interest to his life. On his trip to England in 1921, he was taken to see St. Paul's Cathedral, and during that visit, he has collected many crystals from that gallery, and he was able to make. And then this preservation turned into a kind of an institute, and the name of the institute is Raman Research Institute in Bangalore. The full name or the whole name of this personality is Chandrasekharan Venkata Raman. Was born at Tiruchirappalli. Now this is about his birth or born place, or basically he belonged to this particular place. He was belonging to Tiruchirappalli, and this is what in southern India, and he was born on 7th November 1888. This is what you can use in the background while writing the introduction, and about this person we should know. His father was a lecturer in mathematics and physics, so from the very first he was immersed, he was involved, he was more interested in academic atmosphere. So from the very early age of him, he was having a deep interest in the field of science. He entered in Presidency College at Madras in 1902, and he passed his BA exam in 1904. And he got his first medal in the physics in the year of 1907. This is not there in your book. This is about something which is I am giving you extra for your knowledge, and you should know about this personality, because G. Venkatraman has got such an inspiration to write this chapter, and this inspiration, how he has contributed in the field of science, that we should know. So he got his first medal in the year of 1907. He gained his degree of MA, the highest distinction which nobody has found, nobody has gained till that time. Then after, if we see about his research, he had made a remarkable research in optics, that is the science of light and acoustics, two fields of investigation in which he was more interested, and he dedicated his entire life, his career, and this he carried out from his childhood. So from the very beginning, from his journey as a child to an adult, and then after the age of maturity, till that he continuously devoted through his inspiration, dedication in work, gave a great success. Then after, in the year of 1917, he was endowed with newly Palit Chair of Physics at Calcutta University. Now you should know about this Palit Chair. Palit Chair of Physics is a physics professorship in the University of Calcutta. In the earlier time of India, it was given to a person of knowledge. The post is named after Sir Tarak Nath Palit, who donated rupees 1.5 million to the university, and after that this kind of designation was given to the person. C.V. Raman was the first to be appointed to the post of Palit Professor of Physics in 1917. So he was the first person, he got this, and he was appointed as the Professor of Physics in 1917. Then after, since 1948, he remained the director of Raman Research at Bangalore, which was established and endowed by himself. That means he nourished that institute. He has given his life and soul to the institute, and so the institute was entitled as Raman Research Institute, and he was the director of that till 1948. At last, I would say, like, he was died off in the year of 1970. So this was a kind of overview about the one on which G. Venkatraman has written this whole chapter. This is not there in the chapter, I repeat, but this is just for an interest, for your knowledge about the great scientist you should know. Now, if we focus on the chapter, then this chapter is giving you an idea about this person, C.V. Raman's life and work, or his keen interest in optics. Fine, the first paragraph on page number 115 about the essay, then after in the very first paragraph, it begins with the Raman's interest. You can give a title to this paragraph like his interest in optics. Let's start the chapter. Raman's interest in optics became evident while he was in college. When he was in college, he found something, he was attracted in this area, and he liked this particularly field. In fact, his very first paper was in optics. This interest continued even while he was doing research at the association. This was continued for long, and even for the research at the association. Later, when he became the Palit professor, so now whatever we have seen just now, it is like when he got this position, when he became the professor, Palit professor, he was able to assign various problems in optics to his students. He was able to assign various problems in optics to his students. Yes, due to his interest, he was also giving a kind of various assignments to the students in the same field. It is these studies in optics done by Raman and his students that first caught the attention of Sommerfeld. Now, Sommerfeld, who was the German scientist, so this is what he got inspiration from the German scientist, and he was first caught when he was researching on this fellow, what actually Sommerfeld has done into the field of optics. By optics, we normally mean the behavior of light rays or light waves as they pass through a medium. So, what we normally understand, what we mean by optics, that is the behavior of light, that is the wave or waves that we find, unusual waves, when the light puts on something or it throws on certain substance that is the on anything we find. And especially these wave or multiple waves pass through a medium. Among other things, light can be reflected or diffracted as it goes past an edge or interfere when passing through many slits, that is, it it passes through different fractions, like constantly we don't get or we receive the direct light, we receive light in fractions. So in 1919, Raman wonder means to think, about the connection between the phenomenon of diffraction and molecular scattering. Now, molecular, the small particles of substance, નાના વસ્તુના કણ, that is molecular. Scatter means to get the things in a fraction. So in 1917, Raman was thinking about this connection between the phenomenon, that is the thought of diffraction and molecular scattering. His interest in this topic was aroused by an experiment that Keene and Potter had earlier performed. Again, he was influenced, he has seen these scientists' experiments, and after making the research, after learning about their efforts, he found the interest aroused in himself after knowing about Keane and Potter's earlier performance. So Keane and Potter was, or they were the scientists, they had already earlier performed about the optics. Keane and Potter passed a beam of white. Now what was this experiment? We should know about this. So this paragraph is giving you an idea about the experiment. What was the experiment done by Keane and Potter? They passed a beam of white light through a tank containing a solution. Certain chemicals were then added to this solution so that it gradually changes from a clear liquid into a turbid one. Turbid that is not clear or transparent like muddy. This was due to the production of particles which they remained suspended in the liquid. Naturally, the intensity of the transmitted light decreased as the turbidity increased, and at one stage the light was almost cut off. But now there was a surprise. Keane and Potter found that with the further passage of time, light began to be transmitted again. Not only that, but the color of the transmitted light went through a series of changes: indigo, blue, green, greenish, yellow, and finally white. Why this happened? Why did such a thing happen? Keane and Potter did not have any explanation. Lord Rayleigh was able to explain the initial decrease in intensity and transmitted light but had no answer for the strange appearance of colors later. Now, let us see the beginning. From the beginning, what Keane and Potter has done. This was the process that he had experimented, and after that we come to know that we found like lights were found in the different colors. Before that, the process was like he has passed a kind of a beam of white light. So a beam shaped light that he has passed through a tank, and it was containing a kind of a solution. So under the solution, in the solution, they have passed a kind of a white light, and certain chemicals were added to this solution so that it gradually changes from a clear liquid into a turbid one. So from the clarity, from the transparency of the water turned into a muddy water. This was due to the production of particles which then remained suspended in the liquid. Later on, gradually the process was begun, and the liquid was turned into a kind of muddy thing. Naturally, the intensity of the transmitted light decreased as the turbidity increased. Intensity of the transmitted light, like when initially the light was throwing a full light, I mean it was like a strong light passing through the water. Then the light or the frequency of the light was decreased due to the turbidity increased due to the muddiness of the water. And at one stage the light was almost cut off, and one stage they were not able to find the light. It was off. But now there was a surprise. Suddenly the thing started. Keane and Potter found that with the further passage of time, the light began to be transmitted again. Again it was transmitted. Again it was with the further passage of time, એટલે કે થોડાક સમય પછી the light began to be transmitted again. The light started giving the reflection. Not only that, but the color of the light was changing, and it was giving colors in the different manner, like in indigo, blue, green, greenish, yellow, and finally it turned into white color. So why did this thing happen? This was happened. There was no any explanation that they were able to give. They were all, in fact, they were surprised. They were not in a position to give anything. Then after Lord Rayleigh was able to give certain level of explanation, the initial decrease in intensity of the transmitted light, initially it was passed through decreased intensity એટલે તીવ્રતા, but had no answer for the strange appearance of colors later. But why then this many colors reflected in the water? This was the matter of surprise for everyone. So this was the kind of an experiment performed by Keane and Potter. Now I'm ending here. We'll continue in the chapter on tomorrow. I mean on the in the next week, on next Thursday. Till that, revise the thing, listen to the video, and follow the points. See you in the next week.